It's 1987 and homeless teenager Marcos Lopez Arguello has no reason to keep living, until one fateful evening he is approached by a mysterious girl who invites him to join King's Dominion of the Deadly Arts, a brutal clandestine high school where the world's top crime families send the next generation of assassins to be trained. Murder is an art, killing is a craft, and the dagger in your back is no metaphor.
It's That Other Review Show, brought to you by Two Black Labs Audio and A Week in Geekdom.
Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting episode, another edition of A Week in Geekdom. This is That Other Review Show. I am your host, Giovanni Menendez, and yes, I finally read Deadly Class, Rick Remender's amazing, fantastic series. At first, I did not know what to think of this because it took me a while to read it. This is the first trade, and yeah, it's an interesting read, and I'll tell you why. Now, this is gonna sound strange, folks, but I am not. At first, I wasn't a huge fan of what I was reading. I thought, man, these guys are just like scumbags. Like, I'm not rooting for anybody in particular, but the more you read, the more you start to realize that this story is like this one epic metaphor about growing up and finding yourself. It just so happens to feature assassins and foul language and drugs and sex and everything else in between. How about that? But yeah, the character of Marcus, I thought he was a great character. I thought he's an interesting character, very conflicted. The first volume, and I have it right here, the first trade is called Regan Youth, and there is a purpose to it. This is during the 80s, late 80s, coincidentally 87, which was the year of my birth. Late 80s, Ronald Reagan, of course, with all the health changes in his administrations and all that stuff. You see the repercussions of that. That stuff affects the character in the story in a significant way with the passing of his parents. Eventually, he does join this super elite secret society of assassins, this ninja school, if you will, for the killing arts. And you meet a whole cast of crazy characters, and by crazy I literally mean drug-taking, foul-mouthed ruffians who just want to have a good time, and like as they go through the teachings that they're going through in the school. And at first, like I said, I thought the beginning issues, like the first couple pages, you're thrown into this world with no clear direction and a protagonist that is really down and out, and it isn't until he finds the existence of this school and the characters that would eventually become his best associates or friends, if you can even call it that. And I think that's when the story blossoms and becomes something else, something amazingly cool. And reading the afterwords and everything in the story, I did not know that this, or the concept or the idea behind the story comes from Remender's own youth in Arizona and all that stuff, and like the gangs and all that stuff that he witnessed with his friends, the punk lifestyle, all that stuff. Fortunately, I have not lived through any of that, and I cannot even begin to understand how people live such lives. I did mention I was a little bit lost at the beginning because you're just thrown into this random world and you're expected to care about these sociopaths that they're glorifying killing, of course, because it is a school of assassins and all that stuff. Yeah, at the end of the day, you're not supposed to root for these guys, but you kind of do, because at the end of it all, you do see that these are just fractured teenagers living through such extreme circumstances. And they go through such hardships. Obviously, some of them are really bad, others are good. But at the end of the day, especially with the character of Marcus, he is just lonely, and he is expressing himself in the way that he does his thing in the book. I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but it's through the actions of the first arc and that whole trip to Vegas with the acid trips and all that stuff, which I'll get to in a minute. It's through that specific moment where the character, like the story, blossoms into something else. It's this strange, fun, exhilarating, amazing journey through self-discovery with other people. Really, these guys are just outcasts. They do not fit in the modern society, or in this case, late 80s society, and that is evident when you read the story. However, these characters mesh so well together by the end of the first story arc. That aspect threw me for a loop. I was not expecting to read a story like that. It's not the best comic book of all time. It's not like something miraculous that you're gonna read, but it's so much fun. It's basically like Battle Royale mixed with Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Something like that. That's what I can come up with at the spot right now. But yeah, I think Remender hit it out of the park. I know a lot of people are huge fans of this book, and by the time you see this video, I no longer have this book in my hands because I was foolish enough to think, I don't know anything about Deadly Class, and I'll just get the first trade because it was like $5 on in-stock trades. And then I found out, like, wait a minute, there's literally I bought it, and then a month later they announced a deluxe edition hardcover, super awesome edition with all the first, I think it's the first 3 trades, like 16 issues, and I'm like, damn it, I kind of want like the big pretty book, which I did. I no longer have the trade with me, and I will be upgrading it to the big deluxe edition, which yeah, part of that is due to the amazing art by Wes Craig. It's just a really simplistic but at the same time detailed book. Especially the first issues are really like it depends on the coloring and the way you perceive the world, but once the character enters the secret society of assassins and all that stuff, the school, it's where things brighten up, and there's a ton of usage of color. I don't know if you can see it from these pages. And of course, there is a famous acid trip that happens, and I just want to show you guys real quick some of the crazy visuals that you will spot. And yeah, look at that. That explosion of artwork right there is just beautiful in my opinion. The book is solid. The writing is fun. It's like reading a Quentin Tarantino comic book, if that makes any sense. Like, the actions are deplorable. These guys are not good guys, but you can't help be enamored by what's happening because it's so outlandish, and it's not something normal people like us would do, that we're fascinated by it. Yeah, I highly recommend it if you want to read something fun, something bombastic, with undertones of maturity and growing up and teenage angst and all that stuff. Then yeah, I highly recommend Deadly Class by Rick Remender. The coloring is awesome, the art is fantastic, everything about the book is really fun. The more you read it, the more you'll start figuring out where everything goes, all the characters and all that stuff. The dialogue is really sharp, witty, and sometimes kind of hilarious, and I can't wait to read where the story goes. Now, since this is an ongoing title, I will review in more in depth. I will discuss the larger format whenever I do get it, whenever it's available for me to talk about it. So when I do have that deluxe edition, I will do a proper like analysis and discussion on the series of Deadly Class. Thank you guys for watching this exciting episode. Another review here at A Week in Geekdom. As always, you can follow me on your favorite social media platform from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and Periscope. Just type A Week in Geekdom and I'm there for you guys. Alright, I gotta go. I gotta continue reading more stuff and reviewing and unboxing and all that cool stuff that you guys love. And I will catch you on our next video.
Thank you for tuning in to another installment. You can keep the conversation going through your favorite social media platform. You can like and subscribe to our YouTube page, follow us on Twitter, like our fan page on Facebook, and favorite our pics on Instagram. You can also write to us for feedback, suggestions, and such via aweekingeekdom@gmail.com. Until next time.
Saya or Maria? I don't know yet, so don't spoil it down below.